Greetings, friends. Slowly climbing up out of that hill of not feeling 100%. And also having fun with the robot narrator voice. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and good night to you. And welcome to another episode of your new favorite obsession. I mean, if you're here on Twitch and you're into live streaming, let's go!
Title Yin Yang Late Night Multi-Game Variety Chaos Yin Yang Character Screenshot Photo Shoot Yin Yang Maybe even some art Yin Yang The Almost Daily Live Stream Show Yin Yang Yin Yang Merry XMASS Days After Xmas Yin Yang Multi-Game Madness Silent Run Yin Yang Back to the Daily COD Grind Yin Yang The Almost Daily Variety Chaos Live Stream Show Yin Yang. We are back, and we thank you for watching Live in the Moment, or after the fact on the VOD when I am not online. For tonight's late night impromptu lazy live streaming session, let us activate the relaxed and groovy protocol, shall we? Ready? Activating the relaxed and groovy protocol. Machine learning noises sound effects here. Bleep bloop blah bleep bloop blah. Activation activated. We are now officially feeling relaxed and groovy together, my digital friends. Let's just chill and lounge and vibe and chat and do content creation busy work together, shall we? For this session we will be focusing on a silly and time consuming but also very boring and unusual task of grabbing a screenshot of the title screen of every game installed on my machines. And maybe, just maybe, we might just possibly run a few Warzone solo mode runs. Maybe, but probabilistically probably not. Hello human viewers, hello human viewers, hello human viewers. Hello viewers and welcome back. Please be advised that all new chat rules are now officially in effect and will be enforced. By clicking yes to be able to chat, you agree to and acknowledge that you actually read the following. Please, no solicitations of any sales nor services. I am not interested in buying nor subscribing. No thank you. Be groovy. No trolling nor rudeness tolerated. Be patient. I will not respond to chat while I am busy with a fight. Drop your comment and please wait patiently until I have a moment between matches or monster fights. No recruiting. No. I do not want to join your Discord server. Yes, you can check out mine. IT is listed on my Twitch profile, and the same rules apply there. No requests for any kind of follow, just do not do IT. Violations of these any other part of the Twitch TV rules, TUS, or EULA will result in a warning and maybe an immediate ban from my channel. Reading prior version of general chat rules. Patience friends. The chat is delayed, and I sometimes get absorbed in the games and take a little while to notice new chat comments. But I will do my best to reply ASAP. Peace symbol please. Be kind to each other. Peace symbol. Explosion haters, bots, trolls, and misanthropes will be banned. Explosion hand with fingers split between middle and ring fingers. Relaxed and groovy zen vibes. Please and thank you. Hand with fingers split between middle and ring fingers. Networking rules. Who's read the TTV EULA thinking face? Let us abide. Hello. Fellow content creators, please be chill and relaxed and groovy and do not spam the chat with obvious cut and past sales spam. Please and thank you. Please note, this is a cannabis-friendly zone. This show is not intended for children. I'm just working my way up the ranks and trying to gather an audience of fellow adult gaming enthusiasts willing and able to support a content creator like me on a journey of many levels and lots of creative hard work. Please note, please note, please note, for your information, I am not feeling at my best and need to rest my voice and focus on the gameplay action for now. Not wearing my headset to avoid the inevitable headset headache. And not chatting with my speaking voice because I have trashed my voice talking whilst feeling kinda sick. Thank you for your understanding in this curious regard. Warning disclaimer, I am gaming headset free for now, so all my gaming sound is going big on my awesome pair of insert product name here speaker system, which honestly just sounds amazing. I think I perform slightly better. I get fewer headaches this way also. Until I get chat activity I would need to reply to. I unmute my main microphone to avoid a game sounds echo tunnel sounds distortion effect by accident. Sometimes I am going maybe totally fail at succeeding at that. Welcome to an extra special happy high holiday episode of I Am Indeed Stoned. Quite high off my ass if I may say so myself. Yin Yang happy holiday season yin yang. the almost daily variety chaos live stream and content creation show Extravaganza. Happy high holidays to you, dear humans. Happy high holidays to you, dear humans. Happy high holidays to you, dear humans. Ho. And to all a good night, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and good night to you. Welcome to the almost daily variety gaming live stream show. Bleed purple, bleed purple, bleed purple, bleed purple, bleed purple, bleed purple, bleed purple. And now, dear audience, without further distractions or demonstrations, let us get to the very heart of the matter. Our special behind the scenes tedious but totally needs to get done content creation busy work task collecting game title and main character screenshots. Thank you for being here. Please be ready for lazy, relaxed and groovy nonsense and eventually some fanfiction artwork making and good old-fashioned gaming action. End finito opening intro robo narrator host script variation 15.3. End finito opening intro robo narrator host script variation 15.3. And now, please stand by and strap in. Brace yourselves for an avalanche of variety chaos variety gaming all day and all week and all month. And all year long. Bleep, bloop, blue, 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 bleep, bleep, bleep. New conversational chat blurbs for the speech reader to say in chat for live a stream show. Hello there you lurking viewers who may or may not be paying attention. Hello there, Sao hi. Don't be shy. Going to fine-tune our little adorable cartoon tunes and make an assessment of what to do next. Updated master Twitch copy past chat text blocks new update. Purple Square new followers goal. 4,420 Purple Square. The incorrigible Mr. Zeppo, founding guild master of two multi-game guilds known as Squad, Teamwork and Simnation 4. Leaf Clover fundraiser goal to acquire better gear and expand and grow the capabilities of the stream 4. Leaf Clover bleed purple 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 bleed purple. Here we go again. Gammas. Powering up streaming systems. It's Boshy time, it's Boshy time, it's Boshy time. Argle bardle. So frustrating, not like this, not like this, not like this. Connecting to Streamlabs Pro. Redistributing to Twitch. Exclusively. Huzzah. Welcome friends. Please see the About tab on my profile, and check out the chat rules panel. Welcome to the, almost, daily variety gaming live stream show. New conversational chat blurbs for the speech reader to say in chat for live a stream show. Hello there you lurking viewers who may or may not be paying attention. Hello there. Sao hi. Don't be shy. Welcome to the almost daily variety gaming live stream show. Moderator, Streamlabs. Dear viewers, fun fact. If you make sure when you leave my stream up to have the audio turned up at least to 3%. To help count you as a real viewer on my stream, please follow me on all my other platforms by visiting Zeppo. Moderator, Streamlabs. Warning, regarding any and all solicitation for services. No, thank you. Not interested. Moderator, Streamlabs. I am a professionally trained graphics artist and video editor myself. And I make all my own everything for my own brand, thank you. But no thank you. Best of luck on your hustle, but please stop. Cease and desist, or y'all will be blocked. Thank you for your understanding and compliance. Moderator, Streamlabs. I am currently celebrating my 3rd year codiversary with this BO6 Lorcan being my 3rd full-time new COD game ever, not counting all the discount prior COD franchise games that we have yet to really play all the campaign modes all the way through. We are back, and we thank you for watching Live in the Moment, or after the fact on the VOD when I am not online. For tonight's late night impromptu lazy liver streaming session, let us activate the relaxed and groovy protocol, shall we? Ready? Activating the relaxed and groovy protocol. Machine learning noises sound effects here. Bleep blue blah bleep bloop blop activation activated. We are now officially feeling relaxed and groovy together, my digital friends. Let's just chill and lounge and vibe and chat and do content creation busy work together, shall we? For this session we will be focusing on a silly and time-consuming but also very boring and unusual task of grabbing a screenshot of the title screen of every game installed on my machines. And maybe, just maybe, we might just possibly run a few Warzone solo mode runs. Maybe. But probabilistically probably not. Updated master Twitch copy past chat text blocks new updated format of show. Purple square new followers goal. 4420 purple square. The incorrigible Mr. Zeppo, founding guild master of 2 multi-game guilds known as Squad, Teamwork and Simnation 4. Leaf Clover fundraiser, goal to acquire better gear and expand and grow the capabilities of the stream. 4. Leaf Clover, bleed purple, 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 bleed purple. World building idea, start here, click this and transcribe. Here we go again. Gammas. Powering up streaming systems, it's Boshi time, it's Boshi time, it's Boshi time. Argle bargle. So frustrating, not like this, not like this, not like this. Connecting to Streamlabs Pro. Redistributing to Twitch. Exclusively. Huzzah. Welcome friends. CTAG Studios proudly presents the incorrigible Mr. Zeppoverse. Almost. Daily variety gaming and content creation. Live stream show Extravaganza. Please see the About tab on my profile and check out the chat rules panel. Welcome to the Almost Daily Show, Late Night Edition.
That cough there is real, folks. That ain't no... Oh, that doesn't look as good as I thought it did. That ain't no computer-generated coughing voice. Although I did just overdo it on the intro for the... What's wrong? Earlier, for some reason, it looked good. Oh, there we go. It like auto-corrected when I switched that over. What I like about this new setting is that it's less in my face. That ring was like up in my effing face before. But also now I look red again because I'm looking at the thing. Welcome. I feel kind of normal again. There. Now I'm like hyper underlit. It looked so much better in the preview screen earlier, and I did not have the iPad set up when I did that. Comedy gold. Oh, should I tweak or redo the balance on it? Welcome to the show. It's a late night, just chatting. We're kicking it off in just chatting mode with the ambition to get some content creation behind the scenes, productivity, busy work done. Should I just turn on autofocus? Yes. Turn off. White key. No. White balance wants on. Whoa. I'm messing with the colors. I think we're just at 50 cents. 50%. Let's put it in my favorite. Is that too saturated? Yeah, and if I look really... Everything's fine at 50. Alright. Welcome, friends. Sorry for staring off in the wrong direction instead of greeting you with the camera. I'm feeling marginally better after having had a session of being completely dissociated from time. I feel like I slept well, but also I don't remember when I was up last. but it's, from what I gather, just become Saturday. So good morning to you, Saturday. Hello, weekend. Here we are. More than just a dude with too much time on his hands to play video games, this content creation channel is specifically about content creation. I need to fix this lighting situation. It's bugging the shit out of me. It's not... I thought it would look better this way, and it doesn't. It's not. And the fact that, oh yeah, it dramatically sucks more and more with the different slide on the different... Depending on the... I gotta put it back in the annoying position of being up in my face so that I look well lit. Otherwise, this looks all weird. Okay. Well, embarrassing looking pillow. Sad little pillow in the chair. But it's for my back. Pillow, it's just right in the lumbar. Okay. Hello, friends, and welcome to my totally off the rails, relaxing, groovy, late night. No one's going to watch this, but who knows? I'm doing it because this busy work's got to get done. A stream's got to happen, and I wasn't in the mood to really play anything. But also, I woke up, like ready to go. Like I had to do something, and I couldn't decide what to play. And I'm like, you know what? We have so much stuff to do, and one little project was just to make the. I'm gonna slideshow every game that I aspire to play through in a weaving all of their stories together kind of way. Which includes a lot of redundancies because there's a lot of Assassin's Creed that we've got access to now. Awesome. The awesomest part of Ubisoft Plus, if you're an Assassin's Creed junkie and you do not have the collection of discs because you've been collecting them in normal real time like your average buyer of games. Oh, now I'm really lit. Ah! Now my ugly old face is just sitting there. Hey, what's up? I should maybe tone it down? Or push it back? Or both? So I've been sick since right before Christmas. I managed, like I could tell. Let me tell you, hand to the thank you to the universe. And no offense to the host and to the people that had invited me, to the friends and family that I was not spending time with. But everyone should be glad I was home, alone, in the privacy of my own privy. Trust me. Beyond the corkboard. The only reason I bring that up is because that's one of the things that I weirdly want to like sprinkle throughout my writing. And here's why. And I want to make a loop of this, a clip of this. And I don't know which is better. I've been tinkering, I'm meta overthinking and over chatting stuff. But I also am doing it for the purposes of harvesting, hopefully, if I clip it, if I remember to clip it, if I remember to capture the story. Because that's the way my brain works. And then I can like transpose it and then develop totally weirdly unrelated, but based around some thoughts. It's fictional scenes set in the Zeppoverse. But I've always found it funny. And you can think, imagine me, this would be fun, this would play best if I was sitting in like at the Improv in New York. Or like at an Edinburgh Fringe Festival. No, I don't know. I don't know where this would play best. It's not written yet, but it's hilarious to me that like bathroom humor is something that we're all like, why will boys always be boys about that for a hot minute in their lives? And it's obvious. It's sort of like, you know, this necessary function of life that's weird and doesn't make sense but makes perfect sense but doesn't make sense but makes perfect sense. Because it's inside of us, right? And it's gross, but it's not, but it's gross. And it's just the facts of life. And for obvious reasons, and huzzah, I want to do a little polite movie critic golf clap. Huzzah to the brave filmmakers who have ever broken taboo in this department. But you'll note that in most narrative storytelling work, there's next to zero discussion, except for the occasional breaking of this rule on purpose, and or the sort of harebrained attempt at doing that in sort of an underdeveloped junior high level of comedy kind of way. I mean, you get the full range. I'm not criticizing any one thing or whatever. I'm just speaking broadly. But curiously, for the most part, you can pick up any random novel, you can watch any random series, and the vast majority, easily. Now, when I'm not sure, I will use the less assertive, the vast plurality, which is a valid term. Maybe it was too soon to come back and try to be full strength chit-chat host. I don't know. Let's not blow out the tires, brah. There's no music playing. There's no need to yell. The microphone's pretty dope, and also I can bring it in and we can be intimate. I can either bring in the chair, or bring in the mic, or a little bit of both. I don't need to yell like I'm standing on Broadway. Ow. Now I'm overlit. No, it compensates. For the most part. And maybe there's a whole niche, and I've missed out on it because I've never keyword searched any of this. There's probably a whole stand-up comedy subgenre of people who focus on this in particular, and I just haven't noticed. But there's not a lot of like poop. Uh-oh. There's things I thought I might try installing that it doesn't have enough room for. We need to check what this is. Or should we just cancel? We shall cancel to make room somewhere else. And or just cancel. Aw, McGee doesn't fit. What do we got? Pause all. I got a little feisty and I thought maybe we'll reinstall a few things, but I didn't stop to do any pre-calculus. Any pre-thinking, pre-calculation as to the install size of stuff. That's a game I'd love to throw back in rotation. Even though let's just cancel this installation right there. And maybe also this one just for now. Maybe that's fine. I did manage to slap DC Universe back on, even though that was the choice. I was like, I'm not playing this. Maybe I should uninstall that. I'm probably right at capacity, and I need to delete at least one of the 3 things that I added. We never did play Humankind. I think we thought it might be too weirdly slow and like 20, 41, 12. Oh yeah, we're at max capacity everywhere. I think we'll leave things where we're at. Let's do a quick review of our admittedly ambitious project. Why was I about to launch into a diatribe about poop and like an honest literature, if I may be so bold as to use the word in a literary sense? Honest literature about poop. You know, there's so many things, and in a strange era I'm aspiring to write books when it's really getting popular to just want to ban books. And despite, if I may be so bold and so blunt as to drop this pearl of wisdom, which should be on everyone's common sense pearl string collection of pearls of wisdom. But never, friends, never, ever in the real life history, and or even in most of our fictional histories, except for some topsy-turvy, upside down, inside out examples that I can think of, but not in any good ones anyways. Can be exaggerating, but never. And I hope to God I'm not wrong. Although some people might try to make an argument. There's also the counter argument. But I agree. Everything pin on the corkboard. No matter how controversial anybody wants to make me out to be, please understand this. I have always, will always, and openly admit to constantly that I could be wrong about something, about everything. From top to bottom, soup to nuts. But I'm not speaking out of nowhere. I'm not speaking out like if I publicly announce a public opinion here in my book series as part of fiction writing, I'm, in terms of like literary, if we can aspire to discuss future contribution to the human literary collection of interesting and challenging works. No, it's not a high priority for me to have like thoughtful poop literature woven into the tapestry. But there's a lot of topics like that are just sort of universal and either already so artfully well explored in film artwork, if I may be so bold. Some, and put multiple pins on the corkboard here, on this cluster F bomb of stuff, of counter arguments, which I acknowledge some people are deeply invested in. I can understand how someone can get wound up in this idea and think it to be true, but I do not know it to be true in any way, shape, or form. Their evidence is not very convincing. God forbid, it feels a little manipulative. God forbid, it feels a little shammy and a little bit of weaponized false accusationing. I'm not a blind defender of anything, of anyone, of any industry, of the human species itself. There's corruption, there's bad apples, there's whole entire bad apple carts. In fact, I am often called a shill and or whatever. I've been falsely accused of many things, dear friends. It's cool. It's gone trendy. It's gone viral. It's gone post-viral to casually. And exponentially, it's getting more and more unhinged. So, unhingedly would be the proper conjugation needed here in the construction of this sentence, which we're meta-commenting on. Whenever I do that, that's why I look away from the camera often. Breaking the wall in a reverse breaking the wall fashion. I'm already breaking the wall. If we're going to talk about breaking the wall, my whole act is set the walls aside. Let's you and me talk and or play video games. Forgive me when I'm just like broadcasting to broadcast and I'm not even talking because I've been playing the video games. I really do genuinely want to get good at, in a sort of, whoa, that should be impressive kind of way. I don't know. Maybe there's a Guinness Book of World Records I'm trying to hit. Anybody stop to think about that? Pin on the corkboard. There's a character in my book series that it's like, he wants to get a Guinness Book of World Records of video gaming, but he doesn't know of what exactly. He just loves gaming, so he follows his muse. But it's set in a fictional future in the Zeppoverse multiverse of weirdness. I do think that there's a lot of subject matter out there that including and not limited to something as fundamentally innocuous, benign, innocent, and free of any kind of big A word, which is often part of a, pardon the terminology, it was there before the dude ran, trumped up false weaponized accusational charges, of which I'm sure I will be plagued by nonsense, unhinged folks left and right, all of which probably be demonstrably false. Like, I'm not actually a lizard person from another dimension, sent here to be anything. I'm just a dude trying to pitch a way for readers to invest a little time to support this writer as they develop an experimental online audience collabo fiction, and I'm trying to coin the term here. I'm trying to invent a thing. Maybe I'm reinventing the wheel. Okay. At any rate, I digress. Never in the history of you humans here on this fictional world that I'm trying to build, and or in the real world where you humans, how do you pronounce the S? That's so unreal to me that you put an S there. It should be a Z. That's color commentary of me as my character. But you humans with an S. In your world, I believe this following statement to be true. Nowhere in the history of humanity have those banning and or burning books been the good guys. I believe that to be true. I believe that fiction is a realm of fiction, and that it's allowed to have characters of all kinds, and that authors can write and represent authors, and by extension now, since we are in a content creation world, consider like this fact. I do it this way in one part to be like, okay, even if I never get around to writing the complete book, I tried to brain dump it all. Maybe, knock on wood, I don't have any offspring of my own. Pin on the corkboard. I have real thoughts and, like, you know, Jerry Seinfeld-esque stand-up comedy exaggerated thoughts about that. And I know that there's a bit of a, like, wedge, divide, growing gap and wall on both sides of the, if you wanted to divide all of humanity into two raw camps, that you could say that there, and that it would be undeniably true. And I usually hate not binary people, but binary altruisms or binary. I kind of feel like they're ultimatums, because they're basically, when they're connivingly constructed, they're basically confronting you with what may be in reality an artificial, maybe even potentially completely engineered, false, maybe even weaponized or booby-trapped polemic, not to so as to replace binary, because binary could trigger people who are using that as a personal identity. I don't mean to invoke that there. Neither here nor there. I mean the polemic, the like when we're talking about star systems and we use the word binary, which is where one inspiration came and has now come full circle to be, I need to diffuse that. I'm co-creative. I want to write about a world in which there was such a great destruction of the world's entertainment media. Ipso facto, whether masterminded or not, no one's really sure, because of the loss of an entire global infrastructure system, right? That the known causes for which are archived somewhere, believed to be temporarily, if not indefinitely unavailable to the average humans in this dystopian, post-dystopian, meta fanfiction-y. We volunteer, the human species willingly volunteers to construct brain jar survival VR encasement infrastructure with the belief that they are also re-rendering themselves into flesh print, real, like, clone body avatars. There's a mechanical robot version of this movie around already. Insert name of title here. That's a faulty memory thing. I can't remember, but it's Bruce Willis. It's like late stage Bruce Willis. Too soon for that joke? I love Bruce Willis. I love you. If you're still with us, I miss you. If you're not longer with us, I miss you more. I can't remember right now what state he may or may not be in. Schrodinger's Bruce Willis. I know he's not making any more movies, except Andor, if it's specifically about, and if he's still alive, clause. If is a huge if. I do not know. I factually do not know. If someone threatened, and I hate this analogy, but I love this analogy because I learned it when I was like potty-mouthed, like on my way to junior high, elementary school kid, potty-minded. If there's a place everyone wants to get back to when anyone, I think it's that, really. It's the age before reality changes what you think is everything you figured out the first time. And that just proceeds to happen until you stop letting it happen, until you just like build up enough crust and become a crusty old version of yourself. I digress. Reeling it back. Okay, so one of the many weird, crazy, tedious things to really get back to business. Why did I write? Why is the title what it is? Because I have too many games and not enough time to play them all in. But in my fictional universe that I'm trying to write and that I want to have like real, and I'm not in a rush to write it, by the way. What is he even talking about? Here's the real life / also the setup for the fictional conundrum of one of my many alternate selves as characters, known as the struggling fan fiction fan art writer, as opposed to the professional novelist. There's a lot of template named characters, and those are all Zeppos that don't realize that they are actually sleeper agent, the incorrigible Mr. Zeppo variants. Unless, do they have a patent on that term, or is that we can all still use that? Pin on the corkboard. There's so many thoughts there. Also, flash the sign. Flash the sign. Welcome to fan art, fan fiction, fan art, world building. Is the world building one here? No. This one's supposed to say world building. Let's go make that right now. That's part of world building. DJ said, auto adjust. I wish I had a super intelligent, based on the seamlessly integrated to all of my devices and all of my smart engineering technology, but also safely air gapped from the world so it can't get hacked. AI supercomputing system. So I can ask it, hey Jarvis, I can't use that name. Hey Girl Friday. I probably can't use that name either. By the way, if you've never seen the movie His Girl Friday, that's a version of the 50s that's like, oh, I bet some people innocently wish they can get back to that level, that world that they imagined existed thanks to these movies that are politely romantic, but are also, if I can let you in on a trick, an old school, when oppressive rules kick in for the good of the public space, the filth, the smut goes goes on the wink wink nudge nudge underground, like we're just going to tell you when to realize, oh, and then frame and inspire your own private, I don't need to write it, no one needs to film it, no one needs to make it, naughty bits to the story. That's what I'm meaning to talk about. And that's why my show is not intended for the wrong kind of audience. Never has been. In a future where all media, all video games, all movies, all porn, all whatever you want and everything in between of the late 20th and early 21st century were air-gapped by the Great Forgotten War, and then like buried over by whatever else happens in my world building experiment. Pin on the corkboard, disclaimer, don't steal my ideas. I'm doing all of this to try and capture them in a rambling and exotically new experimental audience participation. Hear me out and then give me your feedback and then watch me write like a wind-up monkey at a million typewriters. Now, what I wish in my real life was that I could be blip, 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 a team of versions of, alternate semi-autonomous, semi-hive mind, but semi-autonomous alternate variations, to not use the variants word, variations of me from either borrowed from the multiversal, the reality, the multi-layered reality of our multiversal realities, or somehow made manifest by a superhuman superpower. I don't care which. Combination of both, whatever it takes. So that we can do all the things. Imagine a story in which you get introduced to a character that is a multiversal like they can traverse the boundary between quote unquote parallel universes, but they can't time travel. Time is still moving forward linearly. They can just all agree to hop the fence and visit each other, doing whatever they are doing in whatever parallel universes they're all sort of. And I've been thinking, developing, and wanting to write about this kind of stuff long before Marvel got to it and drew a pretty picture. And I'm not trying to steal from them. Dear Marvel, please buy me up instead. Just buy me up. And make me some spin-off, some sidebar, some part of the MCU. That'd be great. Or am I trying to start a bidding war? Oh my god, I would. I would write this as a story. I would have to make up a fake name for... I can talk about Marvel on a live stream without anybody getting mad at me, right? And DC. Like, I watch a guy who's a content creator who talks about every movie about every kind of everything, including Marvel and DC, sometimes comparing and contrasting. So I've got to be able to blabla about it in my video game. We play Marvel's Rivals. Oh, I feel back, friends. My MC host alternate variant self is feeling the rebound feel good. I got to get more vitamin C. I got to take a little break because I don't want to overdose on vitamin C, which is a slow overdose. You just start placking it on too much. I do want to get that other one, the zinc. Okay, so in the Zeppoverse, join me for a moment in the theater of your imagination, where, from your perspective, there's whatever universe you live in, whatever you would call it, your Earth. In the Zeppoverse, it's some alternate spelling that's funny, but weird and persistently misspelt. But it's the same word. Hearths. Earth with a Z. And one that's literally Earth with a Z. Like Earth with a Z. Spelt out as one word. For absurdity's sake. But it's a character, and this is not... I am deeply inspired by movies that have already existed in my real life reality as an artist. Let me sidebar. Acknowledge things. Insert name of forgotten titles here. Do some research later. Note to self, future self, rewatching this and or re-listening to this as I type it all out. And or rereading the script after having gotten doing the free transcription loop trick, which I may or may not remember in the future because I haven't invented it yet, but I know that I Futurecast remembered it to myself in the past. So many pins on the corkboard, friends. Just follow along. Just follow along and let me spew my brains out. Imagine a world where there's... Oh, I wish I could remember the name of the superhero right now. From the name of the superhero show, from the year of the decade, so many decades ago that I don't remember what decade it was. Because it's happened in so many different, alternate, slightly different ways in all the different universes that I have access to in my brain. I don't get to physically travel there. I get to just see things from it and know them all. I'm the root being, to not use the maritime word equivalent, because I think they might own a word. They own that. I don't want to get sued. Don't sue me, redacted name of obvious, publicly known mega comic book movie franchise company name here. Don't. But if you want to buy me up, let's go. I got so many ideas. Your art department won't be able to keep up. You'll love me. You want a version of the robot at the end of the redacted name of show here? Comedically named redacted name here. That's me in real life and me as a character. Imagine a world where they have the superhero power from they weren't villains. No, stop interrupting. It's so distracting. If I had the time, I would make a TV show. One of those, you know, those content creators that are like, hello. Oh, hello. Oh, is it me? Yeah, it's me. But it's you're over there and I'm over here. Yeah, it's me and I'm over here and you're over there because we're different versions of me. Yes, isn't that funny? Yes, it is. Now let's do the funny bit. With the other funny bit. Yes, of course. I don't have time for that. Because my brain already is that, and it hurts my brain. And I love them. Like, insert name of redacted artist here, insert name of redacted content creator here, insert name of redacted content creator here. I adore the F out of them. Pins on the corkboard. I need to do the research and then backfill, put their names in, because I honestly can't remember, but I just saw all their faces in my head. Fun fact, as a kid, I always wanted to grow up and play the Joker, and I never could. And am I allowed to say that one? Don't sue me. The other name of the other big, giant, mega, obvious comic book company that you know which one it would be, because they would be the opposite. And I can say them because I just reinstalled DC Universe Online. Don't sue me. So there's too many things at once going on in my weird, crazy art universe. In this story, this book series that I'm trying to write, and that I'm word blathering about because it helps. It helps me write it. And then if you go read the sample book chapters and leave your comments there, but then later come back to watch me again, especially during a world building episode, which this is unofficially, we are in like cosmic brain frame mode. There's reasons for everything. Then you can bring them up and ask more questions. But I want to be able to blather about ideas, post them as an audio, as a live stream, post maybe an edited and cleaned up version, or maybe just the straight full whatever we get version as an audio blog post over on Sprecher.com, where I'm monetized, so that hopefully generates enough income, which it hasn't ever yet in all the time I've been doing it. So go listen to more of my episodes, please. Yada da 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 da, because this is the reality that I'm trapped in, right? Which is also the fictional literary context in which every single one of the multiversal versions of my many instances of self argue with himself. The only reason I don't have time to do that is because to make a little tiny skit where you play 11 dozen people, or even just 4 people, takes so much time. And to get it to cut just right, how? Just right. With or without the chair squeak. Exactly. I don't know. What do you mean? All of that takes 8 times longer than it takes to just say it and think about it and imagine it in your head. Like if you thought, if there's, I'm trying to think of one of the best among them, and I mean this sincerely. Not just because in a fictional setting, if someone put a bazooka to my impossible to destroy comic book characters, are they a villain? Are they a hero? Are they a dark comic anti-hero? What are they? Brain case, and said, pick one. And would you, what's that game that people play that's kind of funny and crass? Marry, F, or bleep. Marry, bleep, or bleep. Everyone knows what it is. I just don't want to say it. I just want to force you to think it. And if you don't know what it is, you got to figure it out. Marry, as in, happily we wed along these vows together until death do us part. Bleeping and bleeping, as in the part required to make more bleeping and babies, and bleeping, the final bleep at the end of all bleeping life. Oh, I thought of one. A real one. And I would totally effing marry this person. Although I really doubt that they're interested. If randomly, if you'd be like, maybe. Depends on what you're like in person. Let me know. But if you're not, it's totally cool. And I'm only trying to be funny. And like, I would make a skit about this. I wouldn't say this to her unless she was being weirdly flirty, which I doubt. And I'm not as old as I look. My beard is just prematurely gray. I'm also not as young as I would rather be. But if in a fictional universe where we were the perfect age preference gap for each other's minds and it all worked out, I would totally bleeping marry her and bleeping bleep her and marry her respectfully. She's probably in a wonderful committed relationship and or just too busy trying to survive and be a successful, amazing, critically thinking, talented, mind-bogglingly good at what they do. Not just good, excellent at what they do. And the reason I bring them up is because A, all of them, names redacted. A, I don't want to get sued. B, I'm terrible at names, but amazing at faces. I literally can see, like, the guy who, when I can't remember his name, I'm like, and he says, and I've decided. So I call him the he's decided guy, or the and I've decided guy, because that's what I've decided. He should know who he is if he just magically heard that. Hashtag, I would love for them to discover me and whatever. But the one whose name I remember before I forget, Amazeballs. If you've never seen them and you're watching my show, A, what are you doing? Thank you so much for being here. And B, how did you find me and not them? And C, well, it's because I don't do what they do. And C, I'm not yet. The only reason I haven't, and I've been sort of like trying to make myself do it, it is so time consuming. Stanzi Potenza. I hope to God I said that right. I don't know if I did or didn't. But this stand-up comic does stand-up comedy, like regular plain old stand-up comedy, and also does like green screen, blue screen, digital self. I'm talking to myself, but as different characters. Sketch comedy, which I love. And there's so many of them. And I mean, so many. And there's probably even more I haven't found yet, because I probably haven't figured out what the one cool hashtag name of genre is to like find the untapped wealth of stuff that I haven't come across yet. But to make one of those, it's like the exact opposite of live streaming. First of all, you're sitting there with your phone on a tripod, standing way far back so that you're at 3/4 or full body. I could do one where there's two versions of me talking like this. So how do you feel about that? Uh-huh. What makes you say that? Like that? What is that about? But, and then also, I don't know if I have room. I guess I do. And I think it would look terrible. I just know what that takes, right? Like, regardless of whether or not, whatever else anyone wants to say or judgmentally falsely accuse me of having been or not been, I am a professionally trained, like, playwright and content creator, right? And I would not say in the ooh, so you're a big West Coast capital E-ists word, the E word. Were we allowed to say that word? I don't know, bro. I don't know. You'd think we would be allowed to say that word. You think so? But some people. You know who comes to mind? I don't know what they're called. I don't know who this comedy duo is called. But I know they got their hands on, and I've seen this makeup effect elsewhere. They either recreated or stumbled across a really nice high-end product for like a Halloween. Like I've seen this in Halloween photos and in movies. But like this really great, we are unblinking big dark lens eyeballed gecko leopard print leopard gecko print alien dudes, humanoid aliens makeup stuff. That or they really are aliens. That would be the most unhinged off. This is really old school lingo. I'm trying to bring back. I mean, my whole life I've been trying to bring back groovy, like legitimately since 1984. No, not the book, the actual effing year, which I had already read 1984 by 1994, which people don't believe, but it's true. I was a voracious reader. We didn't have the internet. I did not. I grew up before the internet existed. Well, part of my life was growing up mostly before the internet existed. Like I got the internet as a young adult. Which, unpopular opinion, pin on the corkboard, I think is as it should be. I think there should be I think the age limit for getting a big screen smart mobile device and an iPad type device that is not strategically engineered for human brain development and not a training platform for an e-commerce addiction. Can we have that utopia? I don't know. I remember, to go off the rails, I remember the first day in real life that I saw a kid under the age of 19 or 20. Kid. Like a kid in, like, not, like, younger than, like, not in junior high. With a cell phone, calling people. It hurt my brain. Like, no. Those little brains should be reading books voraciously. And if they have screened devices, they should be for reading books voraciously in a fun, interactive way. That's still essentially reading books and not anything else. But I digress. We have the mess that we are in, and I have the opinions that they have. So there you are. But imagine in that theater of your imagination, in the fictional world, where there's a version of me trapped in a version of your reality, but science fictionalized. And he believes himself to be a real world, real universe, baseline level, living, cybernetic, nanocellular robotechnology organism that is essentially bioequivalent to, like, if you dissected me, you'd be liar, you're a person. You're just a blame, because it is nearly indistinguishable in its cellular construction, but at the enzymatic level, like at the sub-enzymatic, I don't know where the right scientific, I don't want to put it all the way at Planck length, but at the first place where the wiggly bits start saying we should organize into specific things so we can do things with these things together, instead of doing it in a, well, I guess it'd be at the atomic level. At the atomic level, in your real reality, dear audience, your biology your soft, squishy, fleshy, flesh pod biology is a quirky reality. And it evolved first. You aren't the first personhood achieving species. The genome itself is transcendently evolving in and of itself, adapting as a meta vessel for life forms, right? Now imagine that, but at a fundamental level, instead of carbon, it's some sort of super ultra instead of being carbon-based life form, it's some sort of replace carbon with a like hypercarbon, right? Where like at the atomic level there was micro consciousness, which arguably there probably is. Science, if I may posit part of my complex logic and reasoning, as a fictional writer, I'm positing a science fictional future history reality, which may turn out to be something that gets discovered. There's already transcendental theories that have stipulations or a thesis, or that have varied statements of cosmological explanation that say at some root level it is a oneness of consciousness, right? Consciousness, all caps, consciousness. Now, some take that on as like an article of faith, the way you might take on any religious article of faith from any of the organized religious things. Others are discovering that increasingly there seems to be a progressively growing and maybe inexorably insurmountable, as in it's not quite definitively insurmountable yet, but maybe so in the future, amount of evidence, an insurmountable future amount of evidence growing exponentially every day, that anything with a genome or a genomic cellular basis for it to be existent, and that's a real word, as in of the French, to be in place and alive and active, and it must have consciousness. It all life forms that the genome creates are consciousness filled and animated by the same animus, because the genome itself, and I don't mean the genome for the human species, because it's not separate from the genome for the cabbage species, or the genome for the our nearest cousins, or the genome for according to the mushroom believers, the mushroom prophets, of which there have been many throughout history, curiously expunged or at least marginalized. It claims to be an intergalactic cosmic mind. Anything with a genome is consciousness, because the genome is consciousness, and or some tacit, indelible, like law of the universe level functional tool of consciousness, of the all caps universal consciousness, by which it crafts and weaves its life forms into existence, gives birth. The reason I decline the image of the maker, especially as it has been reductively reduxed and reduced and bastardized, if I may use that word. If it's banned in your universe, I apologize. I'm not trying to get you in trouble for listening to my thing. Because, like, the apple tree gives birth to itself, and it's obvious. What's inside an apple? An apple seed. What happens when you plant the apple seed? An apple sprout. What happens when you let the apple sprout grow? An apple sapling. What happens when you let the apple sapling grow? An apple tree produces apple blossoms produce apple flowers produce apple fruit buds become the apple, which is the fruit, which is an ovum, literally an edible ovum. One way, and I'm going deep dive because I'm making this a crossover special episode of the podcast, as disorganized as it is, because this is central to my philosophy, and weirdly, believe it or not, it's central to my fictional universe that I'm creating, because I'm making allowances in this fictional universes that I'm creating for, like, theoretical tools that I'm making up, that I have no evidence for, but that my intuitive, metacognitive, and yes, totally pseudo-spiritual, pseudo-scientific, theoretical, imaginative mind is dreaming up and thinks might be probabilistically probably, maybe. And that is a central linchpin to the problem that I have writing this. I don't know how to put that on page, although I'm slowly beginning to have ideas about ways to depict it in many different ways. I have some ideas for imagery, but I don't have the crew to film it, and I don't know how to write that script without drawing an image, and I'm terrible at drawing. But, like, for example, this image. I've had this image in my mind, and it's not even complete. Imagine it just kind of curving up into an infinite horizon of people and characters standing behind them. I don't know who's here and who's all present and who's missing. That's tragic comedy right there. Anyways, this is the net result of a early stage experimental attempt at doing what off stream, or maybe I did this partially on stream in the past, and maybe or maybe not, that's really bizarrely boring. And for those of you who are listening to this in the not too distant future as an audio only podcast, forgive me for rambling. We're wrapping this up for now, but I entreat you to please dive deep into the world building podcast project. My podcast is a podcast of many podcasts, just like my project is a project of many projects. So, central to my thesis, and the image that we're looking at is an image you can come look at on my social media if you want. It's on my Facebook, I believe, and if it's not, I'll prop it up sometime soon. And it will be in my art gallery too, and it'll be used in my live streams, so you'll be able to see it there. And it's a photo of me, photoshopped with a bunch of video game avatar characters. And I did this a while ago now, actually, along with a robot character inspired by me cosplaying as my own character, right? Using a iconic photo of myself. Actually, that middle robot, although not standing in the same configuration as I was in the original photograph, is a direct multi-generational recursive resulting rendering, starting with the input of a photo that is the original photo, based on the original photo, as the logo that I'm currently using at my live stream channel. which I don't think is, I should make that the same logo for my podcast. Ooh, we'll do that. So, the photo of me in this, that's actually literally just a photo of me cut out, is much newer than, although not from, like, let's say it's at least 6 months to 9 months old, minimum. And the rest are like Call of Duty mobile characters, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and 3 characters, PUBG mobile characters, mostly mobile characters. Oh, but we got that robot lady from Off the Grid. We got her, it's from when we first installed Off the Grid. So it's a cast of many avatars, right? And I want to do an even deeper dive. And the other thing I want to do, to have just like a fun little slideshow, but also to make as much slapdash makeup painting out of the title cover for all these video games. Why? As I over-explained before, I'll tell you again why. Where is effing... Here we go. This one's not a title card. We're going to replace this. This one is the title from a game that's on my iPad. But imagine this as an oil painting where the black background is a rich tapestry of many different Assassin's Creed characters, but in like painted in black and gray, and as part of like a montage of like shadows that ultimately become just chunky black, thick, oily black oil paint. Well, I can't do that. What I can do is try my best to jury rig or jerry rig or jury rig. Are those the same terms that have like come about in two different alternate variations? Maybe. I can try to like artfully compose something that approximates that digitally using a comic book cartoon secret recipe of different applications, which will obviously be talked about and have been talked about before because we've done at least one episode of this before. I'm not wearing my glasses. That's one of the problems. Not this version of the logo, but the other one. Let me put my proper. Maybe that one's based on. I do more of those, but I got to get rid of the beard because the beard throws everything off. Like, oh, look at this. I want to take these two characters. That's Mr. Zeppo and DJ Zed in one of their native... Oh, you guys can't see this. Hold on a second. Boop. As a matter of fact, DJ Zed, you're not on break. Put a little music very lightly in the background. Yeah, put it down at 40. So we know it's not overwhelming anything. So this is, right? Now I want to take the same image but without all the text and stuff, which I have somewhere. And I want to make it like character art. And I want to sketch that myself. As if I were a comic book artist. In my universe, there's a version of me that has a million versions of me. They all secretly are robots, like that's liquid, living, cellular nanotechnology that can look like anything because it emits holograms. But it also structurally, like if we got blown up or dissected, well, they theoretically come from different universes where different things prevail. What the F's with some of these pictures in here? What am I looking for? I lost track of my thought. Oh, I'm looking for the painting. The painting is not in this folder. Why did I think it was in this folder? Here's the sketch. Like, I'm gonna sketch whatever. There we go. I kind of wanted to put these guys, but I realized it would break the symmetry of what I've already got. Like, this looks great. So I'm gonna take this image, which we've seen as the, I'm gonna draw it. But, oh, here we go. C-Tech Studios proudly presents the incorrigible blueprint. Now, there's many layers to like what Mr. Zeppo is or is not, but I want to pretend that he's existed as a character that is a work of fiction, right? And then the weird part is that character that is a work of fiction, who looks more like this than me, is written by an author that is a work of fiction. Look, there's so many different selves. Some of them will look like straight up robots. In the fictional world, they all look a lot more, you know, they all can exist in a universe where they all look exactly like cousins and brothers and twins of mine. As if we were all just one big brood of self. Like the superhero. In the middle of that superhero show from way back in the day. For some people, this might be nostalgically... There's that image. There's a similar image that I never did anything with. The AI app will turn my photos into weird stuff. In the comic book version of this idea, there are versions of him that are literally actually robots, like actual hard metal robots, right? And can't transform. Maybe they can project illusion. But there's a weird, some might call it a gimmick. I would call it a gimmick without shame. Because I don't know how else to describe it. There's a central gimmick, which is there's all these characters that appear to be normal human beings living in like a perfect 90s reality, who then meet a character that is the incorrigible Mr. Zeppo, who looks like a normal human being, who looks like me, or like whatever actor plays me in the movie, whatever. And but he's able to prove to them that he's sort of like an Alpha Prime version of self, of the Zeppo archetype. And the reality is, redacted, logline, character, description here. And so are they, the main character, insert name of character here, like the undiscovered novelist, the undiscovered cartoon comic artist, the undiscovered musician, the undiscovered whatever. There's a bunch of all the sort of generic archetypical named characters, good or nefarious, right? Heroes or villains are actually versions of him. Whatever's going on in the world, he needs to extract them now. So he needs to interrupt whatever they thought was going on with their reality and go, bloop. You're actually me. Get over here. Stop goofing off with this thing. And they're like, but how? And he's like, I can prove it to you. I come from the universe where I already wrote those books, right? And what's full circle weird, and it does want to be a sort of, I was just literally watching multiple videos about this, and it's something that like that we've played with in historically in literature before. And maybe his guy had different names in the past. But like the ineffable object. My golden MacGuffin is that like my book series don't exist. And in the book series, a time traveling future version of myself travels backwards in time and then is stuck in my world, but I haven't met him yet. And I meet him whenever I fictionally meet him. And he goes, "Oh, here's the books that you've been struggling to write. And or they've been spat out somehow, mystically, either physical books that I need to transcribe, which would suck. I would hate to have to read and type, read and type, read. I hate that. Some people can do that really like, I can only read or I can type. I cannot do both at the same time. And I could never, I don't think I could, I'm too old to learn how to transcribe. Do you see the problem? So in my universe, in my literary universe, there's a character that's essentially exactly like me and stuck in a world exactly like your real world, dear reader. Except fictionally slightly crazier, slightly more off the fucking hook, off the chain, as we used to say. And he can't write, and he can't write, and he can't write, and he can't write, and he's got so many ideas stuck. Suddenly this bizarro, strange person that appears out of nowhere, but has been there all along, who at first looks totally unlike himself, proves to him to be a much older version of himself that is not time traveled, but is time looped. In other words, has been stuck and can bridge the gap between all universes, but has had to wait until this moment in time to reach out to them and interact with them and be like, hey, I'm you, but technically from the end of the loop where I get sent back to the beginning of time to sit around and wait and be an unnoticed chameleon observer robot, but I can access all my alternate selves. So it's like, here we are. And you're me, except you haven't received this information yet. Now you can process all of this. And they're like, it can't be true. I'm like, oh, but it is true because I've got the finished books that you haven't written yet. And he sits there and reads them. And then he's like, okay, so now what do we do? Well, now we've got to set it up and work it out so that you slowly produce them so it's believable that you're writing them, that you're a prolific writer, but also that you're not just plagiarizing yourself in a time loop, which has a funny name. Oh, in physics, they call it a djinn, as in genies. A starts with a D, djinn, but you don't pronounce it. It's like one of those soft pronounced, a djinn particle. There's a really great movie in some universes. In some other universes, it never got made because it got preemptively banned. I'm glad I don't live in those universes. I don't think any of us do. I think we get preemptively shut down and taken off the playing board. So that's who the writer is in the book series. It's like the version of me that's like, I'm just a real boy. Oops, no, I'm not. I'm actually a time-looping, everlasting robot that's now about to inseminate their own insemination of a future history science fiction book series that'll change the world. When people finally read it, if he ever finishes reading it yet. But he's struggling because he doesn't want to believe it, even though the proof is insurmountably undeniably in your face right there. But it could all be insert sound effect here. But there's no way of knowing, so the best thing you can possibly do is just write it and pray. That's pretty trippy. Yeah, I know, man. Now the weird part is sometimes everyone gets confused and forgets who's who. What? In like the metaversal... Oh, yeah. Especially if we all converge and just hang out as one, like in one body. That must be weird. That's what just happened. What? What were we talking about? Welcome to the Zeppoverse. So, okay, I titled this something that I'm probably going to retitle it before crossing it over. I now want to make this an audio podcast. Forgive it being rough around the edges. It's real, it's raw, it's radically unscripted because I have hitherto thought about writing it yet. And it's a real life working MacGuffin, a little mini story inside of a story inside of a story. Because in my fictional universe, there are multiple characters like this that have lived stuck in the wrong age, waiting for the right age to synchronize. And so other people are discovering their stuff that went long undiscovered. And this happens to the characters in the book series that this author is struggling to write. And the primary character that discovers all this stuff and that is trying to figure out what the F it all means is... Dun dun dun! Cliffhanger here! Tune into the next episode for the character reveal. Except for those of you who know, don't ruin it! It's a pin on the corkboard. Some people who've really been following along should know who it is. But if you're new here, you'll be like, the fuck just happened? Welcome to the Zeppoverse. Give yourself a self-guided tour, the project of many projects, over at solo.do/Mr. Zeppo. Thank you for joining us, friends. Zeppo, play us out with the last bit of that song we were listening to, and I bid you a fond farewell. Thank you, as always, friends, for tuning in. Tune in if you're into video live streams. The next will not be a crossover podcast experience. This just was such a great world building that it needed to put it out there as an audio podcast, and it's like the perfect length. So, crossover special episode. Come on through to solo.to. If you've never been to sprecher.com, go to Solo. Click on through to the Sprecher account to get to the platform so you can see the many different podcasts and start with the world building project. Get through those and then listen to anything else in any order you want to. It may or may not make sense until it does. And drop your comments and your questions and your theories and your criticisms. And if you must be a troll, drop your troll and your offensive trash talk. It will all be part of the meta-narrative and interactive, collaborative development process of the storytelling experiment. By the end of next year, insert redacted year and date here. Theoretically, I should have a finished manuscript for a 3-part book series that has many references and many chapters, entire chapters pulled in from other book series, and a good hefty start, sample chapters, etc., and enough to like tangibly want maybe to explore those other worlds, other stories for the other book series. We should be at a whole other level to it. Or not. I don't know. Tune in to find out. Peace out for now. Remember to be good human beings to each other. Until next time, friends, I have been the incorrigible Mr. Zeppo. Did you already play music, DJ Zed? Yes? Play something else. Ciao for now, folks. This live stream audio podcast, multi-world crash of many ideas into one crossover for a special episode. Real, raw, and radically unscripted. Brain dumped for you in real time for the purposes of recursively pinning together all the pins on the corkboard. If you can't see it, there's literally a corkboard behind me that's lit up with little LED lights. There are 0 pins, but throughout all of the work, there are many references that are pinned on the corkboard. It is your task, dear audience, to go and gather them and put them together for yourself and apply your own critical thinking skills and bring that commentary to the experimental development process, which happens on multiple fronts here on this podcast. Even if I'm in the middle of playing a random video game, you're welcome to drop in and drop those questions. I will then go off on a tangent and chat and try to capture that. You just gotta wait until I'm done with the match. Or if you drop the questions in the chapters to which they seem to apply over on Wattpad. Or the podcast episodes, the needle thread that is pinning all the pins on the corkboard, mind exercise, puzzle, Easter egg hunt has brought you to. Wherever you drop them, I will try to not only respond to them, but have it influence and improve the quality of the book series. And now, for a minimum of once a week, every Wednesday, and hopefully, theoretically, as we bootstrap throughout the year, more often, at the beginning of my day or at the end of my day or whenever the effing inspiration strikes me, we're going to try and go and write more pages for the book series to weave the meta-narratives together of all the many mini adventures and short mind experimental blurbs into a more cohesive world that makes sense, including a world in which a whole chorus of my selves live streamed as a pro job to help fund it, because this is what makes it science fiction fantasy, because I ain't making any money from the live streaming. Theoretically, I could have been, but I guess I'm not good enough at the video games. But in this fictional universe, there's like a whole legion that makes, you know how there's a 24-hour gaming house that's an anonymous live stream, someone's on chat, someone's on the controller, someone's on stage management, and I think it must be a minimum of 8 bros that live together in a big old house for it to work, and everyone can work on shift, and everyone can have a sane, non-work life, and it be on 24 hours a day, 24 hours a day, all the time. Unless it's gone defunct, they were making it, and I don't know how other people make it. I don't know what their secret recipe is, but in my literary fictional universe, there is a world in which there is a legion of alternate reality versions of me that all share a convergent reality, a nexus point place that helps fund the entire project, which I wish I had a magic sugar daddy self to fund, because there's the version of me that had the idea that's like, oh my god, if we could play every video game that's ever existed in human history, in the entirety of human history, before humans blow up all infrastructure and lose it, and then preserve them and own physical copies and own, this is the fictional world, right? There's an underground vault where I don't know how many it would take for this to make sense, but on every kind of platform imaginable, and I couldn't do this, I can only write about this, so thank you for hearing me out, and sorry, more inspiration struck, so maybe we'll break this up into a 2-parter. Welcome to somewhere where I realized that this episode is going to have to be for the audio podcast, a 2-part episode. I don't know where it's actually going to be broken up, but I digress. There was an underground bunker where long before live streaming existed, and once it became a normal thing and they realized that it was being monetized on the internet, we just took it over and became the most watched channel ever, the most followed and supported channel ever, on all platforms. But we started it because I thought it would be fun and funny to record myself doing sketches with myself as an audio only thing back when I was like a kid and I first encountered a double-decker tape deck as part of my parents' hi-fi entertainment system, right? In the 70s or 80s. Before the 90s, bro. And I'm going to fictionalize it. Like there's a version of self that's like trapped in the 1800s or whenever they invented the megaphone and the wax cylinders. They was doing it back then too with whatever fun, weird treatment. He was doing an underground cylinder, episodic, whatever. I'd have to come up with lingo for it, like the equivalent of a zine or an e-zine. And they played every video game that ever existed to preserve to preserve it like that. And that's what the future fictional cybernetic cybernetics industry mogul in a world where there is no more pre-great end of original infrastructure war. I haven't quite coined that terminology yet either. But we have this great war that, that just completely EMPs all electronic infrastructure on the planet, except for this secret underground bunker where the Zeppo robots had shielded everything, archived everything, and except for there was one thing they forgot to get. I don't know what it is yet, but there's some funny thing. Maybe they forgot to get Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and they never got to play it. I don't know. There's got to be a funny bit there. You know what I'm saying? And then, so the mogul rediscovers this underground vault and goes, oh my god, there's literal physical copies of every video game, including arcade style stuff, right? Like stand-up arcades in pristine working condition because they kept them perfectly preserved without the abuse that most humans would inflict on them. And they also literally preserved the footage in fully immersive, hyper-realistic 3D, as if you were them playing the video game. The VR holocast of them live streaming the video game. From insert name of the very first game invented in video gaming history here to the very last game produced by humans before the Great War wipes out all electronics and infrastructure here. I couldn't physically do that, right? But in order to write about that intelligently and to create filler content of all kinds and draw attention to the idea, I'm going to play as many games, and to also make up for lost time, unlike many people who played many of these games or some percentage of these games and have nostalgia of it in their youth because they're half my age or whatever, or nostalgia of it from whatever part of their lives it is. I missed out because I never had an Xbox until now. And now I have an Xbox, but not other things going on in my life and too much free time. And I'm trying to self-monetize myself for your entertainment. Thank you for joining me. This has been a world-building, crazy brain explosion crossover episode for Sprecher.com and Twitch.com, permanent highlight to be saved forever and then reposted on all other platforms that I can just straight upload to. And we're signing off. Follow along for more. Peace out, friends. Thank you for being here.